Three, two, one. Well, I'll be. What did I do to be graced by your awesomeness? Hopefully, it's these pretty cool videos that I'm trying to make and the infotainment that I'm trying to provide. Yeah, thanks so much for joining another episode of #filmstock tryouts. I'm Darren, and I'm super glad to have you. Let's probably just dive right in, I guess. Yeah, so first up, keep your eyes peeled for the secret phrase floating around somewhere in this video. Let me know if you spot it in the comments. But yeah, that's enough about me and secret things. Let's unveil the secrets of Ilford Pan 100 and its brilliance. So yeah, I shot this incredible, beautiful film. It's focusing on my face. But yeah, I shot Ilford Pan 100 and I absolutely loved it. I shot it in my Canon new F1, which is not new, it's second hand, but yeah, still pretty cool. And then I developed it by myself in PCT, which is an awesome black and white developer. And I scanned it with my Sony a6500 and a Laowa 65mm macro lens. So, basics of Ilford. Ilford Pan 100 at least is a panchromatic black and white film, which means it's sensitive to all visible colors in the spectrum. Panchro means all, as opposed to orthochromatic film like Ilford Ortho Plus and Rolei Ortho 25 Plus. Those films, orthochromatic films, don't see red, unlike me when I'm hangry. So yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to break it down, show you some shots, and hopefully help you out if you're trying to shoot some of this film and want to know more about it. So let's go. So Ilford Pan 100 is sharp, and I mean like for real sharp, like butcher's knife sharp. Just sneak a peek at these images I made of the bicycle, or how the different subjects across the images are still just beautifully sharp. Look at the leaves, look at the twigs, just look. If you take a look at the image, the clarity and the sharpness is beautiful. Now, I'd like to present you two images from this roll that you have to be careful with. They're so sharp they might cut you. The tones, let's go for it. The tones on this film are like smooth blues. They're rich and delightful, ranging from white to grey to rich blacks. This shows the excellent exposure latitude of this particular film. Even underexposed by about 1.5 stops, I still managed decent detail in the highlights and on the subjects being swallowed in the highlights. Even overexposed, I managed to retain some excellent detail in the overexposed areas, and the tones are still beautiful and warm and rich and dreamy, and throw in all the adjectives you can. Grain. Ilford Pan 100 is purported, is that a word? Reported, rumored, to be a fine grain film, and my findings do not disagree with that rumor at all. I was scanning every image I got back from this roll, trying to find some big blotches of grain, and I couldn't really. It was a very fine grain. It is prevalent across the entire image, but it is very fine. It doesn't break up the image in any way. It's beautiful and it's fine. So yeah, images don't have any distraction from the grain. Adds to the images, it adds to the film experience. That's what the grain is there for. I mean, it's all about the grain. That's why there's hashtags on instantgram like grain is good. Grain is good. I need to learn how to speak properly. And a point that is quite important on all films: contrast. This Pan 100, Ilford Pan 100, is a medium contrast film. So it's not very high in contrast, it's not very low in contrast, obviously implied by the word medium. However, I have noticed that the blacks are very rich, the whites are quite vibrant, and then there are beautiful grays, and then the gradation between that, so the gradient that goes from pure black to pure white is prevalent. They're not right next to each other, but there are lower versions of black or going to grey, percentages of grey between that add to the image, show the different tones across the images. Another thing that I noticed, which kind of surprised me, is when taking a photo of bright subjects that are surrounded by deep shadows, kind of like the white here on my shirt and then the black immediately around it, I'm going to show you some images and see if you can guess what I'm getting at. Can you see what I'm speaking about? Maybe you'll see it in the next image. Did you spot them? You see what I'm talking about? Yep. Halations. The dreamy like bloom reaching out from within the white like a cloud. The halations look really, really cool on this black and white film, and halations just in general, but I think on black and white film add a lot more dreaminess to it, because it kind of gives it that cloudy look to the images and makes it seem more atmospheric. It's almost like there's a vaporizer in the image, a smoke machine or something, and that there's a bit of fog or something underneath the really bright parts of the image, so it looks really, really cool. And halations on black and white film, I haven't really noticed it all that much, but when I was looking over this film's images that I got, I was taken aback by the halations, and I think it's really beautiful. So yeah, let me know what you think about halations on black and white film. And I don't know if you watched Reflex Lab 800, the 2 videos that I put out the last 2 weeks, some serious halations in that. But yeah, overall, what am I saying? I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Ilford Pan 100, and there are a lot of people that are. It's a great quality film, I think reasonably affordable. A fine quality film made by a fine quality company that makes fine quality images. What more could we ask for? I'd recommend shooting close-up portraits, far-away portraits, landscapes, architectural, street. Actually, you know what? I recommend shooting any scene with this film. It is medium speed, so it's not made for low light. So and I think with black and white film, something that I want is a lot of light and a lot of shadow, which helps with the contrast, and it creates an interesting look and more intrigue in the images, more dynamic lines, edges. So I think best for shooting in high contrast sunny conditions. You can do it in overcast conditions as well, but the lighting will be very flat, so you'll have to do a lot in post. But yeah, and that leads me to kind of ending with my 4-part rating overview. You can check it out also on my stories, and I'm just going to go over it for you quickly now. You follow me on Instagram, you can see it on my stories, and I'm going to share it for you on the screen as well. It's these. So let me go. Exposure latitude, I gave this a 4 out of 5. I got about 2 stops exposure latitude. If you're underexposing or overexposing with film, always tend to overexpose. Sharpness, 4 out of 5. It's beautifully sharp. Contrast, 3 out of 5. It's not very contrasty, but the contrast is noticeable, and it does add a unique, maybe not unique, but it does add something to the images. And then grain, very fine grain, doesn't break anything apart. It looks beautiful. And yeah, that's my 4-part breakdown. Take a look at my stories on Instagram. You can swipe across and see the images, spend some more time with them. And yeah, that's it for me for this week's Ilford Pan 100. Bit of a quicker one. And yeah, let me know if you found the secret phrase floating about here somewhere. And next week we're chatting about one of the most popular 35mm films available. And all I'm going to say is it's going to be golden. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know whatever you're thinking. What do you think of the images? What do you think of the new kind of style of the videos? If you like it, what can I add? And yeah, hit me up on Instagram, Threads. Send me your images. I want to share them, talk about them. Let me know if you've shot Ilford Pan 100 before. And yeah, have an amazing week. Just keep making stuff and be blessed. that's it for this week. See you guys next week. Gonna be golden. See ya.